Before they became missing persons, they were mothers, they were daughters, they were sisters, they were friends, they were deeply loved. For every family still searching, for every name that deserves to be remembered, for every story that deserves to be told, this is their stories to tell. Today's first story is one that has haunted Alabama for decades. The disappearance of Kimberly Nicole Arrington. Kimberly was just 16 years old, a daughter, a sister, a teenager with her entire future ahead of her. And more than 25 years later, her family is still waiting for answers. It was the afternoon of October 30th, 1998, in Montgomery, Alabama. Kimberly had finished school for the day. She spent the afternoon outside her family's apartment at the Jasmine Hill Apartments, talking with friends, laughing, enjoying what seemed like an ordinary Friday afternoon. Nothing about that day suggested it would become the last time many of her loved ones would ever see her. Around 4 o'clock that afternoon, Kimberly told her younger brother she was going to use a nearby payphone. The phone was only a short walk away. She was expected to return within just a few minutes. She never came back. When Kimberly failed to return home, concern quickly turned into panic. Her family searched the apartment complex. Friends were questioned. Police were notified. But Kimberly had vanished. There were no confirmed sightings, no phone calls, no letters, no evidence that she had planned to leave on her own. It was as if she had disappeared into thin air. Investigators later explored the possibility that Kimberly had been abducted. Over the years, multiple tips were received. Several persons of interest were investigated. Searches were conducted. Interviews were completed. But despite those efforts, Kimberly was never found, and no one has ever been charged in connection with her disappearance. As the years passed, her family never stopped searching, never stopped hoping, never stopped speaking Kimberly's name. Today, Kimberly has been missing for more than 2 decades. She would now be an adult, living a life she never had the chance to experience. For her family, every birthday, every holiday, every passing year is another reminder that someone they love never came home. If you know anything about the disappearance of Kimberly Nicole Arrington, please come forward. One memory, one conversation, one piece of information could finally provide the answers her family has waited decades to receive. Because Kimberly Nicole Arrington is more than a missing persons case. She is a daughter, a sister, a loved one, and her story deserves to be remembered. Our next story is the disappearance of 19-year-old LaQuanta Nachelle Riley, known to her family as Quanta. LaQuanta was intelligent, ambitious, compassionate. She graduated from Reading High School with honors, earned a full college scholarship, and dreamed of studying criminal justice and forensic science. She wanted to help solve crimes. Instead, she would one day become the subject of one. In late November of 2003, LaQuanta decided to move out of the apartment she shared with a roommate in Eufaula, Alabama. On December 5th, she returned to collect the rest of her belongings. Something happened that day, leaving her upset. She called her mother, asking for a ride back to Montgomery. When her mother couldn't come, LaQuanta found another way home. She moved in with her aunt and cousin on Hill Street in Montgomery, Alabama. Just 2 days later, on the night of December 7th, 2003, around 11:30, LaQuanta left the house in a dark green 4-door vehicle. The car was believed to be either a Ford Taurus or a Chevrolet Caprice. Before leaving town, the driver stopped at her mother's home. LaQuanta went inside to get a jacket. Her brother answered the door and asked who was driving the car. He didn't recognize the vehicle. LaQuanta simply told him it belonged to a friend she had recently met in the neighborhood. She walked back outside, got into the car, and disappeared. She was never seen again. 3 days later, her mother reported her missing. LaQuanta had left behind her purse, her money, and everything that suggested she intended to come back. Then, her family received a chilling voicemail. Her mother believed the voice belonged to LaQuanta. The message was difficult to understand. She either said, "Leave me alone," or "Let me go home." Then, a man's voice could be heard saying LaQuanta's name. The call ended before anyone could trace it. Investigators later followed another lead when LaQuanta's name was reportedly used to rent an apartment in Stone Mountain, Georgia. Her mother traveled there herself. A resident told her he believed LaQuanta had lived nearby and had recently asked to use his phone after an argument. But by the time her mother arrived, LaQuanta was gone. Despite countless questions and years of searching, no one has ever been charged, and LaQuanta has never been found. Today, her family continues to search for answers. They continue to hope that someone knows exactly what happened that December night. If you have any information about the disappearance of LaQuanta Nachelle Riley, please contact the Montgomery Police Department. Because LaQuanta is more than a missing persons case. She is a daughter, a sister, a young woman whose dreams were never given the chance to become reality. And her story deserves to be remembered. Our next story is a disappearance of 14-year-old Brittany Shanté Robinson. Brittany was only a child. She loved reading. She loved drawing. She was preparing to begin her freshman year of high school. Her future was just beginning. Instead, her life became one of Alabama's most heartbreaking missing persons cases. It was a morning of June 14th, 2012, in Mobile, Alabama. Brittany's aunt dropped her off at her father's home. It was supposed to be a simple 2-day visit. She was expected to return home. She never did. Days passed without a phone call, without a text message, without Brittany. As concern grew, her family contacted police, but by then, her father had already left Mobile. Authorities eventually located him at a mental health facility in Arkansas. Brittany was not with him. Investigators determined he had traveled throughout several southeastern states after Brittany disappeared. When he was found, he was carrying Brittany's pink iPod, but there was still no sign of Brittany herself. He was later convicted of custodial interference for failing to return Brittany to her mother. Years later, prosecutors charged him with Brittany's murder. But in 2025, a jury found him not guilty. To this day, no one has been convicted in connection with Brittany's disappearance. Searches of the home produced no evidence of where Brittany went. Investigators believe foul play was involved. Brittany also suffered from severe asthma. She disappeared without the medication she depended on every day. Today, more than a decade has passed. The little girl who was supposed to come home never did. Her family continues to wait. They continue to hope, and they continue to search for answers. If you know anything about the disappearance of Brittany Shanté Robinson, please contact the Mobile Police Department, because Brittany is more than a missing persons case. She is a daughter, a student, a little girl whose future was never allowed to unfold, and her story deserves to be remembered. Our next story is the disappearance of 17-year-old Tarasha Benjamin, known to family and friends by her nickname, Pooh. Tarasha was described as kind, friendly, and well known throughout her community. No one imagined that an ordinary Saturday morning would become the beginning of a mystery that remains unsolved today. It was June 26, 2010, in Selma, Alabama. Around 10 o'clock that morning, Tarasha left home, planning to go to the Selma flea market. She borrowed a friend's gray Mazda Tribute. It was a trip she had made many times before. She was expected to come right back home. She never did. Just a short time later, the SUV was found abandoned on the Cecil Jackson bypass, less than a mile from the flea market. Tarasha was nowhere to be found. The vehicle appeared to have been disturbed. Items had been scattered around the SUV, but there was still no sign of Tarasha. Her family immediately began searching. Friends, neighbors, volunteers, the entire community joined the effort. Investigators searched, flyers were distributed, tips were followed, but every search ended the same way, without answers. Over the years, authorities have continued to classify Tarasha's case as an endangered missing person. Despite the passage of time, no arrests have been made, and Tarasha has never been found. Today, more than a decade has passed. Her mother still waits, still hopes, still believes someone knows exactly what happened that Saturday morning. If you have any information about the disappearance of Tarasha Benjamin, please contact the Selma Police Department, because Tarasha is more than a missing persons case. She is a daughter, a friend, a young woman whose future was taken far too soon, and her story deserves to be remembered. Some disappearances leave behind only questions. No witnesses, no answers, no goodbye. For Yuette Wabbington's family, those questions have remained unanswered since 1997. Yuette was 33 years old. She was a mother, a daughter, a sister, someone her family described as a homebody, the kind of person who never stayed away without letting someone know. It was October 10th, 1997, in Birmingham, Alabama. Yuette was living with her mother and her 2 children. That evening, she left home, promising she would return for a family gathering. She never came back. When Yuette failed to return home, her family immediately knew something was wrong. She didn't own a vehicle, and although she sometimes walked to visit neighbors, she always came home. Leaving for days or disappearing without warning was completely out of character. The next day, her family reported her missing. Investigators searched for leads. Friends were interviewed. Family members waited, hoping for a phone call, a sighting, anything. But that call never came. As the weeks turned into months, and the months became years, Yuette remained missing. Authorities believe foul play may have been involved, but despite the passage of time, no arrests have been made, and Yuette has never been found. Today, more than 2 decades later, her family is still waiting, still hoping, still searching for the answers they've deserved all along. If you have any information about the disappearance of Yuette Wabbington, please contact the Birmingham Police Department, because Yuette is more than a missing persons case. She is a mother, a daughter, a sister, and a woman who walked away expecting to come back home. Her family is still waiting for that day to come, and her story deserves to be remembered. Sometimes the most frightening mysteries begin with silence. No struggle, no warning, just someone who never comes home. That is the story of Nanette Evette Thomas. Nanette was 51 years old. She was a devoted mother, a dedicated employee, and someone her family described as dependable. She rarely missed work. She stayed in touch with those she loved. Disappearing without a word simply wasn't who she was. In early April of 2016, Nanette was living at the Eastdale Apartments in Montgomery, Alabama. She worked for Malone Staffing at Glovis America, processing Hyundai vehicles for shipment. When she suddenly stopped showing up for work, her supervisor knew something wasn't right. After several days, her family was contacted. They immediately went to Nanette's apartment, but she wasn't there. Inside, everything appeared to be in order. There were no obvious signs of a struggle, no indication that anything unusual had happened. Yet Nanette was gone. Her family reported her missing. Investigators began searching for answers, but very little information has ever been released publicly about the investigation. Over the years, her loved ones have continued to hope, to pray, and to wait for answers. Authorities continue to list Nanette as a missing person, and her case remains unsolved. Today, years have passed, but for Nanette's family, time has not erased the questions or the pain. If you have any information about the disappearance of Nanette Evette Thomas, please contact the Montgomery Police Department, because Nanette is more than a missing persons case. She is a mother, a daughter, a friend, a woman who left behind people who still love her, people who still search for her, and people who still deserve answers. Her story deserves to be remembered. No woman should ever vanish without headlines.